Hey everybody, today I'm going to review Incredibles 2, sequel to the first Incredibles movie back in 2004. Now, I really loved the first Incredibles film. It had an amazing animation, wonderful characters, brilliant story, and definitely one of Pixar's best animated films. Come to think of it, it is basically a kid-friendly version of Fantastic Four. So I've been wondering if there's ever going to be an Incredibles sequel. Well, I became so happy that for those 14 years later, Incredibles Part 2 is finally happening. This is something that we should have had back in 2011, instead of that unnecessary Cars 2. I was not even bothered seeing Cars 3 either. I saw it and it was great, but not as wonderful as the first film, and I'm going to tell why I think this way without any spoilers. The story of this film took place immediately after the first film. The Incredibles has tried to capture that villain Underminer from robbing the bank, but failed. As a result, the Incredibles got arrested and later decided that superheroes are out of the public. That is, until they met a billionaire who witnessed their actions and decided to rewrite the image of superheroes in the public. So the billionaire has chosen to hire Elastigirl to do the mission while Mr. Incredible is staying home to take care of their kids. However, it all changed where a new villain named Screensaver has come to take over the world. So Mr. Incredible, Elastigirl, Violet, Dash, Jack-Jack, and Frozone decide to team up together to save the world and fight this new villain. I find the story of this film to be good, but not as creative and original as the first film. There are some silly moments, but there are actually some exciting moments. The animation are just as excellent as the animation of the first film. I really like how they animate the characters on their facial expression and how they act, move, speak, and behave. It's very cool to see all the superhero costumes are very well designed. I also like the explosions, the buildings crumble, and the part where the superheroes are using their superpowers. Pixar for sure is good at doing animations. Now let's get to the actors who voiced those characters as well as the directing and music. Returning from the first Incredibles film is Mr. Incredibles, voiced by Craig T. Nelson, who has been in movies like Poltergeist, Born on the 4th of July, Turner and Hooch, and The Devil's Advocate. Elastigirl, voiced by Holly Hunter, who is from Always, The Firm, Oh Brother Where Art Thou, Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice, and The Big Sick. Violet, voiced by Sarah Vowell. Dash, now voiced by Hook Milner. Frozone, voiced by Samuel Jackson. Edna Mode, voiced by Brad Bird, who of course is the director of The Iron Giant, the first Incredibles film, Ratatouille, Mission Impossible 4 Ghost Protocol, and Tomorrowland, and Jack-Jack. I have to say, they all still did a wonderful job voicing those characters. Mr. Incredibles is a strong superhero that has a power of super strength, and in this film has to take care of his children in their new home. Elastigirl is Mr. Incredibles' wife that has the ability to stretch her body into many shapes and forms, and in this film is on a mission to do superhero things. Violet is the daughter of Mr. Incredibles and Elastigirl, and the older sister of Dash and Jack-Jack that has the power to be invisible and project force fields for a limited length of time. Dash is the son of Mr. Incredibles and Elastigirl, and the brother of Violet and Jack-Jack that has the power of superhuman speed, similar to the Flash. Frozone is Mr. Incredibles' best friend that has the ability to form ice from humidity. Edna Mode is a fashion designer that makes costumes for superheroes. Jack-Jack is the baby son of Mr. Incredibles and Elastigirl, and the baby brother of Violet and Dash that has an absorbment of powers. We are introduced to new characters such as Winston DeVar, voiced by Bob Odenkirk, who was from Steven Spielberg's The Post, and Void, voiced by Sophia Bush. Winston DeVar is a billionaire who is a big fan of superheroes and wants to bring back the superheroes to the public eyes. Void is one of those superheroes who is a big fan of Elastigirl and also has the power of creating voids where objects can appear and disappear. As for the rest of the superheroes that are alongside Void, it is very interesting to see them, but I felt they did not have too much screen time. Now for the new villain, Screensaver, well, I will not give anything away, But I will say this, that Screensaver is not as memorable and wonderful as Syndrome from the first film. Brad Bird did a very excellent job directing this film, as he did with the first film. I'm very glad that Brad Bird has come back to direct an animated movie, because let's face it, even though I enjoy Tomorrowland, but I do face the fact that Tomorrowland is not the best, and it was a box office disappointment. The music composed by Michael Giacchino sounds pretty much like a spy movie mixed with a superhero movie, similar to the first film. Overall, this is a great fun animated film for the whole family. It may not be as perfect like the first Incredibles film, but it is still a pretty good superhero film. It's nowhere near as wonderful as Toy Story 3, but it is a much better Pixar sequel than Cars 2 and 3, and even Monsters University. I enjoy this Pixar movie sequel the same way I enjoy Finding Dory. I feel so happy that The Incredibles is finally becoming a franchise. I do hope we could get Incredibles 3 in the future. If you're a fan of Pixar and superhero films, definitely go see it. So I give this movie 4 out of 5 nuclear bombs.